Difficult behavior. Every parent has to deal with it. In Part 4, we look at some simple strategies to help you cope calmly with those very challenging times.
No.
Let's face it, difficult behaviour is why a lot of parents seek help, especially when they feel a bit out of control. I spend a lot of time with parents who want to know why their children don't listen to them, why they have tantrums or behave badly. As children grow up, they need to learn to accept limits and cope with frustration, including how to regulate their emotions and behaviour.
It isn't easy dealing with behavior like this, but what family hasn't had to handle at least some difficult days? Children learn self-control better when their parents act immediately, consistently, and decisively when difficult behavior occurs.
Let's start with how you set limits so children know what you expect of them.
It's a parent trap to assume that children know what you expect unless you tell them clearly. It's also a trap to set too many rules and restrictions on things children shouldn't do.
All right, guys, can you tell me, Santhi, can you tell me what the ground rules are?
All children need to learn what our expectations are and how to behave. Having a few, maybe 4 or 5 basic rules can help. Let your child help set the family rules.
Treat people how you want to be treated.
Okay, yes, that's a good rule.
Children do need limits and predictability. Learning to follow rules will help them adjust to school and later life as an adult. The rules parents set need to be clear and appropriate for the child's age.
Be kind and gentle.
Be kind and gentle. Yep, that's a nice rule.
Rules need to be fair, easy to understand, and tell children what to do rather than what not to do. State rules positively. For example, keep your hands and feet to yourself is better than don't fight.
Evie, be gentle and kind with Molly.
Be gentle and kind is better than stop pulling the lead.
I think for me, I used to have a lot more of the negatives. Don't do that, we don't walk that way, we don't talk that way. I'm trying to turn that around and become a little bit more positive in the way that I word my rules, I suppose.
What happens if your child breaks the rules? Here are some ideas. Directed discussion is a useful way to reinforce a rule. It's best used when your child is learning a new rule or occasionally forgets a rule. The steps are simple. Get your child's attention. Briefly and calmly say what the problem is and why it's a problem.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Don't run through the house. You might trip over something. What's our rule about moving through the house?
Walk in the house.
That's right. Go back down there and show me how you walk through the house.
Ask your child to tell you the rule and then get them to practice doing the right thing.
That's much better. Thank you for walking through the house.
Here's a strategy you can use for minor problems. Sometimes you can ignore minor problems like fooling around at the lunch table or annoying voices, whining, making faces. Just don't react. Pay no attention as long as the problem lasts.
No, Laura. Not giving you candy now.
But be prepared for the behavior to get worse before it stops. Your child may be trying hard to get your attention at first, but eventually they'll learn it no longer gets a reaction.
Whatever you do, avoid the trap of accidentally rewarding the problem behavior. Don't just give in to make it stop. Each time you do that, your child learns that if they keep doing it for long enough, you'll eventually give in.
The way we give instructions is important. When you give instructions and how you give them can influence whether children do as they are told.
It's all about the delivery and the timing. When you give an instruction, make sure you're calm and what you're saying is clear. And if it doesn't have to be done right away, wait for a good moment, like at the end of an activity.
When you give an instruction, stay calm, stop what you're doing, and get to within an arm's length of your child, down at their level, and use their name.
Hey, Kira, please put your phone away and start your homework.
Be clear and direct.
Okay.
And give them time to start cooperating, around 5 seconds. Stay close and watch what they do. Be sure to praise your child if they do as you ask.
Oh, that looks great. You've done a good job setting the table. Thanks, Annika. Thanks, Matt.
And if they don't do as you ask, back up your instructions with a consequence that fits the problem. Make a commitment to yourself and your family to be a no-yelling household.
Once you're giving clear instructions, you also need to be able to back them up. Let's look at some different ways of backing up instructions if your child doesn't cooperate. If there's no consequence for misbehavior, there's not much incentive to do as they're told next time.
So if a child isn't cooperating with an instruction, one way of dealing with the situation is to use a logical consequence that fits the situation.
Act as soon as the problem occurs. Don't wait for it to happen over and over.
Eloise, stop bouncing the ball inside, please. You need to take it outside.
Calmly take away the toy or activity at the center of the problem and explain why you're doing it and for how long.
Eloise, you haven't stopped when I've asked you to, so I'm going to take the ball away for 5 minutes.
Keep it brief, 5 to 30 minutes for the first time. Keep to the agreement, and when time's up, allow the activity again so they can practice doing the right thing.
The 5 minutes is up. Here's the ball if you'd like to go outside and play.
Thank you, Mum.
Okay.
You may need to take the activity away again, and for a longer time if the problem reoccurs on the same day.
Thank you, Eloise, for doing what I asked you to do.
Sometimes it may be hard to use logical consequences. The situation may call for you to use a different strategy.
Ollie, show's over in 5 minutes. You're going to have a bath then, okay?
Quiet time is another brief and effective way of helping children learn acceptable behaviour when a logical consequence might not be possible.
Ollie, show's over now, okay? It's time to go and have a bath.
No, I don't need one.
Quiet time is an alternative to shouting, threatening or spanking children.
The show's over now. Turn the TV off now and go and have your bath, please.
I don't need one. I'm not dirty. I don't need a bath.
If you've given a clear instruction and your child doesn't do what they're told, act quickly. Calmly tell them what they've done wrong and that the consequence is quiet time.
Okay, you haven't done what I've asked. You need to come with me and have quiet time.
Ignore their complaints. Don't argue. Just calmly insist that this is what they have to do.
You simply move them to the edge of an activity and tell them to stay there quietly for a short time.
Come sit just here, please. Now, I need you to sit there quietly for 2 minutes.
Short periods work best. Around 2 minutes for preschoolers and no more than 5 minutes for older children.
Mom, I don't need to go to timeout.
For quiet time to work, you need to use it consistently and decisively. And remember, no attention in quiet time from you or anyone else. When time's up, let them rejoin the activity and praise them as soon as they behave well.
Mom, I don't need a bath.
If this doesn't work and they don't do what you're asking, you may need to take them a little further away from the activity for time out.
Mom!
Time out can be used as a backup to quiet time, or as a consequence for something more serious like being aggressive or destructive or completely losing their temper.
Mom! Mom!
Okay, you're not being quiet in quiet time, so now it's going to be time out.
It's a circuit breaker. You take them away from the situation where the problem happened to another room or space for 2 to 5 minutes, just like quiet time. This is really a positive strategy. It helps children learn self-control, to calm themselves down, and to learn acceptable ways of managing feelings like anger and frustration.
Sit down there quietly for 2 minutes and calm yourself down. I'll come back when you're quiet.
It requires us as parents to stay calm and to give everyone a chance to calm down.
For timeout, use a room or space where there isn't anything interesting to do. So their bedroom is probably not a good place. And it should be safe, well lit, and well ventilated. Prepare the area before you need it so there's nothing dangerous or fragile.
The timeout routine should be planned and explained, even practiced before it's used, so children know what to expect and there are no surprises.
Before you start using timeout, call a meeting to explain the steps of the timeout routine. Do this at a calm time when no problems are occurring.
So sometimes when I get angry, I just take some big, deep breaths, and that helps me calm down. Do you think you could try that?
Yeah.
Yeah? Great.
This way parents can help them practice ways to calm themselves down and to assure them that they'll be close by.
No, that's stamp pencil. No!
Charlotte, stop screaming, please, and calm yourself down.
When a problem happens, act right away.
Own picture.
Charlotte, you didn't settle down. You need to come with me to timeout, please.
Calmly tell them what they've done wrong and that the consequence is timeout. Be calm but firm. Take them to the timeout area with as little help as needed. As you put your child in timeout, remind them they need to be quiet for the set time before they can come out. You might need to remind them to calm themselves down.
Charlotte, I need you to sit here quietly for 3 minutes, please, and calm yourself down, okay? And then I'll come back.
Give no attention. You've got to be prepared for the storm. It may include kicking or yelling or bargaining, but stick with it. If they leave the timeout area before you say they can, calmly take them back.
You can use a room and close the door if you're comfortable with that, but explain it all to your child before you use timeout. Wait until your child is quiet before you start counting the minutes of timeout.
There are important things to remember to make timeout really work. It won't work if your child gets attention or gets to play with toys during timeout, or gets out of going when you've said it's time for timeout. This won't help them learn to regulate their own behaviour and emotions.
Okay, Charlotte, you feeling calm now? Come on, let's go out and play with your brother.
Getting out of timeout should depend on the child actually calming down and being quiet rather than promising to be good or simply being there for a set amount of time.
Okay, Ollie, you've been quiet for 2 minutes. You can come out now.
After timeout is over, go back to where the problem occurred. Remind your child what to do.
Okay, now it's time to go and have a bath.
Praise them as soon as they behave well.
Thanks for doing what you're asked straight away.
If the problem occurs again, repeat the timeout routine. You should need to use this strategy much less often after the first week or so.
Timeout works for us because it gives us a chance to calm down and stops things from escalating.
If parents are using timeout too frequently, there are some things they should think about. Have they made it clear to their child what's expected of them?
Good job.
Have they planned ahead and arranged engaging activities? Have they used positive attention and rewards when they follow the rules? And finally, is timeout the right consequence, or is there a more appropriate logical consequence?
I feel so bad when she gets so upset. I feel I can't handle it.
An important part of timeout is how parents manage it. But my message to parents is this: don't fall into the trap of thinking you can't handle your child's getting upset or your own feelings. You will be able to do it.
We've just seen a variety of strategies for how you can manage misbehavior. We saw how to set ground rules. Directed discussion is a useful way to reinforce a rule. How to deal with some minor problems by ignoring them. How to give clear, calm instructions. And we explained the backup strategies of logical consequences, quiet time, and timeout. Choose the strategies you'd like to try out with your family and keep track of how things go.